So in the types of firewall, how many types of firewall? There are multiple types of firewall. Okay. So like I'm going to explain right now. This is the packet filter firewall. Packet filter firewall is also used to know as stateless firewall. Okay. So it's a old and traditional firewall. So what it does actually, like this is my firewall and this is my LAN. Okay. In the LAN, suppose there is a one PC, and suppose this is one PC outside the network. Okay. So if any traffic like this guy want to access this guy, okay, okay. So as I explained, there is a one initiator, there is a one responder. So this guy, the IP of this PC is suppose 1.1.1, and the IP address of this PC is like PC1, PC2. This PC is 10.0.0.1. Okay. So if this PC2 want to access PC1, so what kind of rules we can create? I want to allow the traffic. Okay. So what kind of rule we can create on packet filter firewall? Okay. So see, so there is a rule we can create. What is the source IP? We can define the source IP. Source IP is 1.1.1. Okay. See that? What is the destination IP? Destination IP is 10.0.0.1. And on what services? Why he want to access? So he want to access on which services, like 443, 80, whatever the services. Okay, we have a multiple numbers of services, because if you want to access any PC, you want to access on services, right? You can't simply access like that. So, so he want to access on destination port number is suppose 443. So we can create a rule in the firewall like this source IP 111, destination IP 10.0.0.1 to port number 443. It should be action would be allow. Okay, action would be allow. So if you allow like this, then only we can create a policy in the firewall like this. Then only it will allow the traffic. But it's a packet filter firewall, which also called stateless. Stateless. What is stateless? I'm going to explain. So see, so if I will allow the policy like this, it will only allow one side, like one side. So if this PC will reply, this is the initiator, this is responder. I said if this is initiated traffic, he will get a reply, right? Definitely he will get a reply. What is reply? I'm going to tell. I'm going to explain again. Like this PC want to access Facebook.com. Okay, Facebook.com. So and this is a server of Facebook.com. So once if you type in your browser Facebook.com, so there is a one dashboard of Facebook cam, right? On the Facebook application. Those actually Facebook is replying to your PC. That's why you are able to see the dashboard of the Facebook, right? That is actually replying, okay, to you. Likewise, if he said if he want to access PC1, so this PC will definitely will reply. So replying back actually for when the PC1 will reply back to PC2, those information we have to also allowed in the firewall. Okay. So actually my firewall is we have to allow a two connection. We have to allow a two policy for open one connection from PC2 to PC1. Okay. Let me explain again. So this is my firewall. This is PC2. This is PC1. The IP of PC1 is 10.0.1. This IP of PC2 is 1.1.1. So if this PC want to access PC1, we have allowed first policy source IP is 1.1.1, destination IP 10.0.0.1, and port number 443. So with this policy, action is allowed. This is have allow in firewall. So it will only allow one side of traffic, one side. But the reply once this PC will send a reply back, we have to be allowed now. If when the packet is returning, here the source is changed. Here the source is this PC is become source. So here the source IP is 10.0.1, destination IP is 1.1.1, and port number is 443. And action allowed. So here we have to again create a one policy to allow for return traffic. Remember, so that's why for creating a one connection, we have to be created two policy into the packet filter firewall. So that was actually a old traditional firewall where, so for consuming, likewise, if we have to be create 1,000 rules, if we have to allow 1,000 connection, for creating 1,000 connection, we have to be created 2,000 policies. So it will actually taking a long computing time, or it is actually creating a latency, and it is actually breaking down the throughput of the firewall. So that's why some kind of latency into the network. So then next came stateful firewall. So once I explain the stateful firewall, you guys able to understand what is stateless. So in the stateful, what is actually in the stateful, as I explained on the packet filter firewall, for creating a 1,000 policy, we have to be create a for creating a 1,000 connection, we have to be create a 2,000 policy in the firewall. Okay. So, but in the stateful, it is not. In the stateful, if you want to create a one connection, you have to allow the one policy only. Okay. In one policy, it can create a for one connect, for any each connection, it can create a, we need to create a only one policy only. So like this is my firewall. Okay, here this PC, the IP is same 10.10.1.1.1, and there is my PC, is IP is 10.0.0.1. Okay, so if I want to allow from PC2 to PC1, I will only need to create a one policy. Like source IP is here 1.1.1, destination IP is 10.0.0.1, and port number is 443. That is enough. Okay. Why? Because why it is enough? Why we no need to open or create a policy for the return traffic? Why? Because this stateful firewall is actually maintaining a state table. It is maintaining a state table. What is state table? State table is also called a connection table. So what it is, connection table, it is this firewall, whenever if any traffic would come, it has created one connection table, and in this connection table, it's like a it is storing a data. Like it is storing the data for, okay, what is the source IP? This source IP. What is the destination IP? 10.0.0.1, port number 443. This guy actually want to access, and action is if it is allowed, he want to access to PC1. Okay. So when the return traffic would coming, it will check the state table lookup. It will do the state table lookup and check that, okay, this is the existing traffic is coming. It means it is it is not a new connection. It is the existing traffic which is already went from the firewall. It is return traffic. So if it is a return traffic, and that all the information he will find into the state table, so he will not going to do the policy lookup check. He will simply allow the traffic. So that's actually how the stateful firewall work here. This is very much important. Now we came to know that what is stateful and what is the difference between stateful and stateless firewall. This is the first question you are going to be asked in your interview, if anyone preparing for the interview. Okay. So stateless is nothing, is a packet filter firewall, which is not. So stateless is the same packet filter firewall because it is not maintaining the state connection. So what is stateful firewall? Stateful firewall is maintaining the state table or connection table. Okay. So it is maintaining the state table, but stateless is not maintaining the state table. And for creating a one policy, we can require a, for creating for one connection, you can require a one policy only, but for one each connection, they are required two policies. Fine. This is a major difference. And there is a one stateful firewall. It's a very low latency. Okay. Low latency means there is a no network choking. The throughput is very high. Why high? Because why the throughput of the stateful firewall is very high? Because there is a less number of policy. Why? Because if we have to be create a 1,000 policy, 1,000 connection, for 1,000 connection we require a 1,000 policy only. But in stateless, for 1,000 connection it required 2,000 policies. So that's why it will take long time for computing. Okay, so that's why stateless has a high latency and low throughput, and stateful has a low latency and high throughput. That's actually major difference. What is application level of gateway firewall? So application, it's a application firewall. It's also called a proxy firewall. So application firewall, what actually it does, it only check for a web browser, like web based traffic. Okay, what is web based traffic? Web based traffic is like facebook.com, youtube.com, any type of traffic which you are accessing from your web browser. In this PC, for accessing from web browser, all web browser traffic is called web based traffic. So any web based traffic, it's all directly, it is filtered by the application level of firewall. It is actually working on application level, as I explained the OSI reference model. So what happen if you open a browser and if you initiate any traffic, so those would be come into the application level, application layer. The application layer firewalls, what it does, like if you want to, like if we have a user in the LAN, there are lots of user, it is connected to the firewall. Okay, it is application firewall. Okay, application firewall. Okay, and this is my internet. Okay, so like suppose there are some user. Okay, some user, I want this user to access the facebook.com, suppose. Okay, facebook.com, but I don't want this user to access the facebook.com. So and even I want this user to access the youtube.com. So likewise we can create a application layer filtering into this firewall. So most of the times, like if I want to allow naukri.com for this guy, okay, but I don't want to allow naukri.com to this guy. So those kind of blocking and filtering we can do at the application level gateway firewall. Okay, so in also application layer level gateway firewall, we can also block all social media. Likewise, we can block all social media. Yeah, it's also we can do the content based filtering. So those kind of filtering, like we can also block YouTube or streaming media. Like we want to block all streaming, but we also want to allow for the some other user. Okay, like HR or CEO, we want to allow everything for CEO, but we want to block like we have a developer in our office, so we want to block a social media and streaming network for the developer user. So those kind of policies we can create an application level filter firewalls. Okay, because it's a application level. What is application? As I said, and all are the layer 7 application we can allow and block at the application level of firewall. What is next generation firewall actually? Okay, so next generation firewall, guys, understand here. So like as I explained now, stateful firewall. Okay, then I explained you about application firewall. Okay, and if anyone aware of IPS, it's a intrusion prevention system. Okay, so what actually IPS is doing, I want to explain. So like if any traffic would coming from internet, any traffic coming from outside anywhere, okay, so if it is come to the IPS have a signature database. It has a database of signatures. What is called signatures? Signature is the antivirus, like all the attacks, whatever the attacks happen till from the very beginning to till now, all are the attacks or viruses signature it has. Okay, and so those are the signatures actually. So if any packet would come, it will check all the signatures. Okay, for the packet. If any packet would match with this signature, it means this packet has some kind of malicious or warm stuff. It will simply discard it. Okay, it will simply block it. Whatever the policy we have created, block or would detect. Okay, because it's an intrusion prevention, it will block it. But if the packet there is a no signature would match, it means it's a normal packet, it's a safe packet. It will then forward to the application gateway and then our stateful firewall and then to the user. So now we understand the IPS. So what is next generation firewall? Next generation firewall is a combination of stateful firewall, application level firewall, and IPS. It's combination of all three. Understood? So it has a combination of all three. It is also working as a stateful, also application filtering, also like working as a IPS, also have an antivirus features. It has a features of everything. So that's why it's called next generation. Okay, it has a features of everything. So once we will learn, we'll go inside into the lab of the Palo Alto firewall. we will know the features, whatever I will explain the features, you will know more about what the next generation firewall will does. In the Cisco even there is a one UTM, right, or FTD firewall are there. Okay, those are also are the next generation firewall. But why Palo Alto is number one? Because I'm just explaining here why Palo Alto is number next generation firewall. Because if any packet would come for checking IPS, for doing the web filtering, for processing the any network and any NAT or any policy lookup, it is doing everything in one go. In one go means at a one time. At a one time, like in a Cisco firewall, first packet like it's the one firewall only. It's the one next generation firewall. Okay, so if any packet would come to the next generation firewall, first it will go for the IPS module, like IPS module, and then it will once it will check, then it will come to the proxy module, then it will come to the your route lookup, policy lookup, everything. Then it will pass to it. So it will take some time. But for the Palo Alto, it will checking all the three stuffs at a one time. Now I'm moving the transparent firewall. What is transparent firewall? Transparent firewall is where the firewall is working as a L2. It means L2 is what? Working as a switch. Like suppose if this is a L3 switch, okay, L3 switch, and there is a one router, and there is a your connection, whatever, internet. So like suppose this interface has some IP defined, okay, 10.0.0.1, and this interface has some IP defined 10.0.0.2. And if suppose in your organization or in your office there is a requirement came that we have to put the firewall in between that. Okay, so if you want to put the firewall in between that, as we know that firewall working on L3, we have to be change the topology, right? On because this interface of firewall will require a one physical IP address. So that's why it is we have to be change all the topology. But for the transparent firewall, we can work as a firewall as a L2. It means like a switch, but it will filter and it will filter the traffic. It will protect the network as like a L3, but it is work as a L2. That's why only one IP required for the management only, and it will work on the MAC addresses or frames. So that's called as a transparent. In the firewall, it's called wire. Okay, wire interface. Okay, wire firewall. So so these are actually the types of firewall which I want to explain.